Nintendo always makes some weird and unique controls throughout the years, and this can always result with that the controls has less buttons. So I was thinking, since Ape's Odyssey is a game where you basically need to use all of the buttons from the PlayStation controller, I was wondering which of the Nintendo controllers could you be able to complete the entire Ape's Odyssey, even with less controller. In this challenge, I'm gonna play Ape's Odyssey with all the major Nintendo controllers to see if it is possible to complete the entire game or to see how far I can progress. Now, there are some controllers that I am going to exclude from this challenge, which is the GameCube controller, the Wii U gamepad, Wii U Pro controller, Nintendo Switch Joy-Cons, and Nintendo Switch Pro controller, since they all have the same amount of buttons as in PlayStation controller, and you can pretty much just complete the entire game. So for the rules of this challenge, I am gonna map all of the buttons from the Nintendo controllers in the same way as it is mapped in the PlayStation controller. I am basically gonna use the standard button layout for the Nintendo controllers, the one that has A, B, X, and Y, since most of the Nintendo controllers have that. And whenever a button has the same button placed in the same place in the original PlayStation controllers, I'm gonna go with that. Even though there are some Nintendo controllers that have different buttons, but I'll go through that. So let's begin. Starting off with the NES controller, and with this we can't really go that far since we only have the D-pad, A and B. And with A and B I can only throw stones and crouch, which is very useless for the first area. Now, another thing is I am missing quite a lot of functionality, such as running, sneaking, and the entire game speak. Well, at least I can just roll to give Abe the same speed as running, so that's at least a good thing. But unfortunately, my journey already ends here, because I have to jump in this next platform. And I tried a little bit other ways to just reach this platform, but there's just no way. You'd literally have to either make a normal jump or a long jump. And yeah, I'm missing both of these function for the NES controller. So yeah, my journey already ends here with the NES controller. Next up is the SNES controller, and with this one we have a lot more opportunities than the NES controllers, since the SNES controllers has all 4 buttons, D-pad, and even L and R, so we can do a lot of things such as running, jumping, crouching, and even speak to other Modokans. Now the only functionality that I'm missing with the SNES button is that I can't sneak or doing the alternate game speak. But for the first part of this game, it doesn't really matter since we don't really need them. And thankfully for this part, I could of course jump, and here I could pretty much possess the sleek and do it like normal stuff. So all in all, everything went completely fine with completing Rapture Farms. But then I reached Stuckyard, which requires a little bit of sneaking. But it's not that necessary, since I have seen a lot of speedrun tricks where you could actually be that fast to just get away from the sleek before they even start reacting. And thankfully, most of those sleeks in Stuckyard are a little bit slow to react and shoot at me. So yeah, everything went fine with Stuckyard 2. But then I reached Nunchuck Lounge, which was here where I need the alternate game speak to do the whistle password. But I have also seen some smart speedrun trick where you basically can just skip that Mudakin. And this just requires precise timing, like at that moment where he's just fluting, I just have to run immediately, then he just get distracting himself from getting just angry at me. So that way, this was also no problem, and Nunchuck Lines was also completed. And then I reached Scrapania. The first part of Scrapania was fine, even though I did need some sneaking technique, but I easily solved it without using any sneaking. So I did that and I got Illum. But now here is where my biggest problem is coming, because here I need the red ring to destroy those bombs. And to do this, I had to do that whistle password the Modakin is telling me. And yeah, like I said, I am missing the alternate game speak button, so I can't do that. So yeah, I could pretty much say that this is here where my journey with the SNES controller is ending. But it's not, because I actually remember that the PS1 version of Abe's Oddysee has an inbuilt cheat code, and that inbuilt cheat code makes you skip the whistle password, and you can just get it from him by just saying anything. So I actually remember that I made a video about it showing that cheat code, so I went in and searched for it and yeah, just tried to do that cheat code. And to start with, it was a little bit hard because you had to do it correctly and doing it very fast. And I wasn't really sure if this actually worked for this Mudakin, but to my surprise, it did actually, and he gave me the red ring. So, luckily, I could now continue. Here's where my second problem is. I had to do the cheat code again to let the Mudakin press that lever, and my problem is that there is small space and there's that Bob near my body. So when I did that cheat code, I accidentally fell off and I had to restart and do it all over again. And I gotta tell you, it was actually painful doing that cheat code because you had to do it precisely and fast, and it was actually a little bit hard with that D-pad from the SNES. I tried several times and thankfully I managed to get the ring from the Mudakin. But then in one of my failures, I just realized that I just have to use the cheat code one time, and then I can just get the ring from any Mudakin without really saying anything. I honestly did not know that, and this just saved me from a lot of pain and time. So yeah, basically I just had to do that cheat code one time for that Mudakin, and for the that other Mudakin, I could just say anything and he just pressed the lever. And I was just so happy that I didn't even need to do the cheat code again. So I just normally continued Scrapania, and everything went pretty well until I reached this part that stopped everything, because here I needed to sneak to get past the sleeping Sleek. And I've tried so many smart tricks to get past some problem because of missing button functionalities. So of course I tried to see if I could be able to get past that sleek. But to my unluck, he was reacting pretty fast as soon as he woke up. And I tried few times doing that, just running directly onto him, but the closest thing I just could do, I successfully reached the second layer, but I couldn't stop myself because the bombs were nearby. I even tried with Elon, but it didn't really work because he was just too fast and too slippery that he ran into the bombs. And there wasn't so much I could do, and I thought maybe there was some hope that I could get past that sleek. But unfortunately, I have to say, it's not possible to get past that sleek. So my journey already ends here with the SNES controller. But I gotta be honest, I was pretty surprised that I reached that far with the SNES controller, despite the fact that it had missing a few buttons. No wonder they call it Super Nintendo. So, yeah, it was a pretty wild ride with that SNES controller. So, let's continue. Next up is the Nintendo 64 controller. And the N64 controller is pretty much going back with the NES controller, having only A and B, but at least it has L and R buttons. Now the C buttons do not count because they are technically considered as a right joystick to rotate a camera, and this is not even included in Abe's Oddysee at all, so they were ignored. Now, the only difference with the N64 controller, I could at least run, which you can see that I actually forgot that because the L bar one was pretty much ignored by me. But yeah, like I said, since it only has A and B, I pretty much ended here the exact same place as with the NES controller. So I thought, yeah, this was probably over. But then I'm thinking, maybe there is hope, because I have the run button. So I was thinking to do the ledge trick and get down, because underneath me there is actually a secret. So I successfully did the glitch and went down the secret. But it was no use, because there was nothing useful down that secret that I could use to progress through the level. And to my unluck, I could not even go up again because I didn't have any jump button, but only to run. So I pretty much softlocked myself. So yeah, my journey already ends here with the N64 controller. Next up is the Wii remote. Now the Wii remote was a bit weird to configure because it has the button 1 and 2. So I was a bit unsure by myself what they should be considered. However, I remembered that I watched an image of a prototype Wii remote where 1 and 2 was meant to be X and Y. So for this challenge, I'm going to use 1 and 2 as the X and Y buttons. So this means that I can now move, jump, crouch, pressing lever, and throwing stones. Basically, I have all the 4 major buttons. But what I'm missing is, of course, the run, sneaking, and the game speak functionality. But for this part, at least I could be able to jump. But my next problem is here in this layer, because here I need to either sneak or chant, and I'm missing both functionality in the Wii remote. But then I was thinking of a pretty smart trick. I was thinking that Maybe if I went down that secret underneath that barrel, because underneath it there is a boom machine. So if I took the boom machine and threw it at the sleek, maybe it could help me progress throughout the game. And thankfully, my strategy worked. I threw the bomb and the sleek gently just walked into it and he exploded. So, thankfully, I could now continue. Now, as you can see here, I had a little bit problems with knowing what button was what because, yeah, the weird one was placed so weirdly with the controllers that I always forgot what buttons could do what. So, yeah, everything here went pretty fine until I reached this part, because here I need to either run or possess one of the sleek, and I'm missing both of the functionality. So I was hoping that maybe if I could get enough time to jump and reach the other platform. And to my surprise, that sleek was very slow with reacting, and I actually managed to reach the other platform. And now I could normally continue my journey. And now I actually completed Rapture Farms with the Wii Remote, but my journey already ends here at the beginning of Stuckyard, because here I need to run and jump from that Scrapenia. Well, I had the jump button, but I don't have the run button. So this was a really big problem, because first of all, the scraps are really fast and they also react pretty fast when they see me. So there was literally no way I could get past the other platform. I was thinking maybe either just keep jumping or just rolling, but I just didn't have enough time to get to the other side because that scrap was really fast with reacting. So my journey already ends here with the remote. Gotta be honest, I was actually pretty surprised that I reached that far with only a Wii remote. I never thought that I could actually be able to complete Rapture Farms at least, but yeah, this is how far I went. Now for the last one for this challenge is Wii remote and Nunchuck. For this one, we're still going on the same configuration as we did with the Wii remote, only we still have A, B, X, and Y for the Wii remote. But for Nunchuck, we do quite have some extra buttons with our journey, since I have C and Z buttons on my left hand on the Nunchuck joystick. So what I now got is all of the game speak, the first game speak and the alternate game speak. So I can now at least talk to my duckins, but I'm still missing the run and sneak functionality. And for this, I just faced a lot of weird issues with the Wii remote and Nunchuck. I just realized that the Nunchuck's joystick was so sensitive that it was just always taking some extra steps whenever I just moved it. So I just have to hover the joystick very carefully. So as you can see here, I just failed twice by just falling straight down to the bombs. And that was so annoying. The joystick was very annoying. I just had to hover the joystick very carefully. Another thing what was pretty painful is that whenever I had to jump, I literally had to get my hand all the way down to the bottom of the Wii remote, because just to press the one button, which is the jump button. For this part, I again had to go with the strategy, going down the secret, picking up the boom machine and a bomb to destroy the sleek. And yeah, it worked pretty fine. Now, like I said, the joystick just gave me a bit some problems because, you know, it was so sensitive that it just took some extra step. But, you know, it went fine, and I killed the Sleek. But when I had to reach the elevator and just instantly get down, it was here where the Nunchuck really annoyed me, because I just don't know how I just took a step to the right. It was literally hard, just going straight down into the elevator with that joystick, and I just didn't know what I had to do. However, thanks to my friend Mordinus on Discord, he showed me some weird glitch that if you let a Mudokon following Abe, the Sleek would not even wake up at all, or he would just pretty much do a late reaction to that. And this made everything a little bit easier for me. Well, there was a bit some issues with the Joy-Con, but I managed to get down on the elevator before the Sleek shot me, and then I could just continue. Now here the joystick also annoyed me because of its extra step, so I tried to let Abe jump only, since it can sometimes make some accurate steps for him, and it worked pretty well. And here, yeah, I pretty much did the same strategy as I did before, but I was a bit scared of what it could result with that sensitive joystick. But you know, luckily everything went fine, and I managed to reach the other platform. And everything else went fine, with a few issues with the joystick. And yeah, as you probably would have expected, because like I said, I don't have any run buttons, so I pretty much got stuck in the exact same place as with Wii Remote only. So honestly, it didn't make any difference at all playing with a Nunchuck. It made everything literally much worse, because I pretty much got stuck in the exact same place. So at least it was pretty much better playing it with only a Wii Remote. So here ends my journey as well. So that was all of the Nintendo controllers that I challenged myself with. I gotta say that the SNES button are the winner for this challenge, since it is this one with the most button and the one I could be able to reach that far. So that's all for this video. Next time I'm gonna do the same, but with Abe's Exodus instead, to see how far I can progress throughout the game with these Nintendo controllers. So thank you all so much for watching. Please like this video, it was a little bit painful just setting all of this up. So I'll see y'all next time. Bye.